Okay, so factors affecting the acid strength. Now, having discussed quantitatively the strengths of the acid and base, we come to the stage where we can calculate the pH of the given acid solution. Now, the curiosity rises that why should some acid be stronger than the others? Basically, what factors are responsible for making it stronger? So, earlier we had studied that the stronger acid means it can totally dissociate into the H plus ions, right? Now, so basically now here finally when it dissociates H plus ions, it depends on the strength and the polarity of the HA bond. So H is the hydrogen and A is the any non-metal. Correct? Now,
yes, sir.
So strength of the bond, dissociation, that means dissociation strength and the polarity of HA bond. So if the HA bond which you have, it's it can be easily broken, then H plus ions can come out very easily. And the polarity also. Polarity means basically the electronegativity part. Now in general,
Okay.
So in general what we say is HA bond decreases that, the strength of HA bond decreases, that's the energy required to break the bond decreases. So as the strength, that means strength of the HA bond, if the HA bond is weaker, then less energy will be required to break it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the HA will become the strong acid because complete H plus ions can come out in the solution. Next, when the HA becomes more polar, polar means the electronegative element takes all the electrons towards itself. Okay, then makes it much more easier for the separation. Then what happens? It takes all the electrons from the H also towards itself. So the bond also becomes a weaker, and again it becomes easier to do the cleavage of the bond. So,
okay.
increasing the acidity of the acid. Now, it should be also noted that while comparing the elements in the same group of the periodic table, HA bond strength is more important factor in determining acidity. So when you go from the across the same group, right, while going down the group, okay, going down the group, you can define the acidity of the acid, how it increases or decreases, right? So when you go down the group, so basically if you see group 17 elements, you have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So all this forms the acids only. But since the fluorine is the smallest atom, and then when you go down the group, so electronegativity decreases down the group and atomic size increases. So atomic size increases, so what happens? The bond strength also decreases down the group. Correct?
Okay.
So the bond strength decreases down the group, and then what happens? The HI bond will be easier to separate it out than compared to HBr. HBr will be easier than compared to HCl. HCl will be easier than compared to HF. So basically, acidity, when you go down the group, acidity increases. Clear? So write down this part now. As you go down the group,
Yes, sir.
the strength of the acid increases. Got it? So you must write down this part when what happens when you go down the group.
Okay, sir.
Okay, done. This part is quite important. Okay, so once you write this part, then we are done. Okay, next. Similarly, H2S is stronger acid than the H2O. But when we discuss the elements in the same row of the periodic table, the HA bond polarity becomes the deciding factor for determining the acid strength. Example, when you go across the period, what happens? Electronegativity increases. Across the period, when you go in the periodic table, the electronegativity increases. So the acid strength also increases when you go across the period. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So write down this part.
Okay, sir.
Clear?
Yeah.
Now, now let's go to the common ion effect in the ionization of acid and the base now. Consider example of acidic acid dissociation equilibrium. Now, can you just write down the acidic acid dissociation in the equilibrium state? What happens? CH3COH gives you H plus ions plus the acetate ions.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, the question arises is that acidic acid contains so many hydrogen ions. Then why it is the weaker acid?
Okay.
But the problem is that here the all other HR is the organic compounds. So CH3CON is acetate ions. So here the hydrogen cannot be taken out because there is a polyatomic ion. CH3CO minus is a polyatomic ion. So it becomes acetate ions. From here the H plus you cannot remove it, but H plus can be removed only from the H plus and the acetate ions. Okay.
Okay.
So HAC. So when you do the equilibrium, so become the acetic acid gives you H plus ions and the acetate ions. Correct?
Okay, yeah.
Now what will be the equilibrium constant for that acid? As per your formula, it becomes H plus AC, the molar concentration of H plus and the acetate ion divided by total concentration, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. One more thing we want to understand is that when you add the acetate ions to the acetic acid solution, results in decreasing the concentration of hydrogen ions, and also if the H plus ions are added from external source, then the equilibrium moves in the direction of the undissociated acetic acid in the direction reducing the concentration of H plus ions. The phenomenon is an example of the common ion effect. This part is very important. Now what is called common ion effect? Okay. Now this part we need to understand clearly what exactly happens now in the equilibrium state. Okay.
Okay.
Now, since acidic acid is in the equilibrium state now, so there are two chances now. Either you can add the acetate ions or you can add the H plus ions. Correct? See, amount of H plus ions concentration will be always the constant in the acidic acid solution. So when you increase the acidic acid result, when you in addition of acetate ions, when you increase the acetate ions inside that,
Okay.
when you increase the acetate ions inside the solution, what happens then? It results in decrease the concentration of the H plus ion, because when you increase the acetate ions, so some of the acetate ions will combine with the H plus ions and the reverse reaction will start happening, forming this acetic acid. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Excellent. Similarly, what happens again? When you increase the H plus ions now, when you increase the H plus ions again, what happens? H plus ions, more H plus ions combine with acetate ions, and then it increases the concentration of the acetic acid. So it again decreases the concentration of the acetate ions. This is known as the common ion effect.
Okay.
Clear? Understood?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Good. It can be defined as shift in equilibrium by adding a substance that provides more of the ionic species already present in the dissociation equilibrium. Thus, we can say that the common ion effect is a phenomenon based on the Lee-Chatelain principle discussed in the 7.8. Correct? This part is clear? Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
Now write down the equation for this acetic acid, and then we'll try to understand with this example how to determine the pH of the solution when you have the 0.05 molar acetate ions to the 0.05 molar acetic acid solution. We shall consider acetic acid dissociation equilibrium once again. Now let's try.
Okay, sir. I'll just try.
Yeah, let's try this part. Yeah, hi Shreya. Which one we are doing, Shreya, for you?
So we were doing page 209, 12.6 part.
12.6 part. Okay, so one minute. Yeah, did we finish the what's the page number, Shreya? Come again. Yeah,
So 209.
219. Okay,
So 209.
209. Okay. $209, yeah. So we had to start from 209. So fine. So 12.6, you could figure it out, Shreya. Did you do any questions, any doubts in 12.6? Example 12.6.
No, sir, 12.6 is fine.
Okay. Did you do all the questions?
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
But
perfect.
I have a doubt in one of the questions.
Yes, tell me which question is doubtful.
So the third one is doubtful.
Okay. Let the resistance of electrical components remains a constant while the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases to half of the former value. What change will occur in the current through it? Okay, so what question is asking you? Let the resistance of the electrical component, let's say that electrical component is the heater, okay, and that resistance is fixed. Now potential difference, when you suppose potential difference applied across the two ends of the component decreases to half of its former value. Suppose you are applying the 100 volt. Now instead of applying 100 volt, it reduced to half. That means reduced to 50 volt. So what will happen to the current passing through it? So apply the Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. So voltage is directly proportional to current. When you increase the voltage, current also will increase. When you decrease the voltage, current also will decrease. So when you decrease the voltage to half, what will happen to the current? Voltage you are decreasing. What will happen to current? It's a directly proportional. Current should also decrease. Right? See, when you are decreasing the voltage by half, then current also will decrease by half, no? Did you get it?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Oh, it was not audible to you?
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir. Current will. Yeah, sir. You're audible.
Okay, fine. So current will also decrease, because voltage is directly proportional to current. Got it? So whatever you multiply with voltage, that
Okay,
same
sir.
thing you will multiply with current also. If you are dividing something with the voltage, the same thing you have to divide with the current also. So this is because it's a directly proportional. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's go to the system of resistance. Draw the figure 12.6 now.
Okay, sir.
This example, are you able to get Vijay?
Yes, sir. I'm getting
Excellent.
it.
Oh, good. Perfect. Done, Shreya?
Sir,
Yeah.
I'm done, sir.
Oh, good. Excellent. Any questions, any doubt, Vijay, in this part?
No, sir.
Very simple? Perfect. Now let's go to
Yeah.
this. Yeah, let's go to the problem 7.24 now. Let's give
Okay,
it a
sir.
shot for this. Let's see how you understand.
Yes, sir.
Shreya, done?
Yeah, sir. I'm done.
Okay, look, Shreya, what is happening is now system of resistance we are talking. So you see the resistance R1, R2 and R3. They are connected one after another, right? So
Yes, sir.
that is called, when you connect one after another in the same wire, that is called the series connection. They are connected in the series, okay? So you have a battery here,
Okay, sir.
then it's connected to the ammeter. Ammeter is again in the series with the circuit, so it's for measuring the current. Then you see there is a voltmeter connected from the X to the Y, right? Because across the three resistance R1, R2 and R3, across the three resistance there is a voltmeter connected in the parallel, right, to all the three resistance R1, R2, R3, and parallelly they are connected to voltmeter, and then after that there is a wire which goes back to the key, and then from here key to the negative terminal of the battery. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Now when you apply, now what happens when you press the key? When you press the key, the current starts moving from the positive terminal battery to the ammeter, from ammeter to the resistance R1, from resistance R1 to resistance R2, then from R2 resistance to R3, and then come back to the key, and then back to the negative terminal battery. Clear? Now we want to know what,
Yes, sir.
yeah, we want to know is, see, total voltage applied across the three resistance is nothing but the volt, is nothing but the total voltage given by the battery. This is V. Okay. Now,
Okay, sir.
so as per the Ohm's law, what happens is, as per the Ohm's law, total voltage across the three resistance will be given as sum of all the three voltages, right? It will be given as, see, total voltage in the circuit will be given, V will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. Can I say like that? See,
Yes,
total
sir.
voltage V will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now see here, this, if the current is I, in the current, if the current is going, as suppose let's say current is going I, so I is passing through the R1, then passing to the R2, and passing through the R3, sorry, right? Is it the same current which is passing through that? Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
So current is same.
Yes, sir.
Current is same across the resistances. Now, when the current is same across the resistance, let's find out what is the V1 then. V1 will be what? I into R1, because the current is, as per the Ohm's law, V1 will be equal to voltage drop across the R1 will be I into R1, because I is the current passing through the resistance and R1 is the resistance. So similarly, so all the three resistance will be, so total V will be given as, write down, I into R1 plus I into R2 plus I into R3. Got it?
Yes, sir.
And suppose if I want to replace the entire three resistance with something called only one resistance, that will be given as R equivalent. Okay, entire thing I want to replace with only one resistance,
Okay, sir.
that will be given as, let's say, R equivalent. Entire thing I want to replace with only one resistance, that will be given R equivalent. So current also will be flowing the same only.
Okay, sir.
So there, now you can just replace, as per the Ohm's law, you can replace I R equivalent. So I R equivalent will be equal to I R1 plus I R2 plus I R3. So take the I common from the right hand side and cancel it from both the sides. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So what you'll get, R equivalent will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus
So
R3.
R equivalent is equal to,
Yes. So R equivalent will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Can you see that?
yes, sir.
So in the series, you just have to add all the resistances. Total resistance will be equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So if I have R1 is 10 ohm, R2 is 10 ohm and R3 is also 10 ohm. So what will be total resistance?
The R1 plus R2 plus R3.
Yeah. So all are 10 ohm. So what will be total resistance?
The 30 ohm.
Correct. Understood this part? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now draw the figure
Yes, sir.
12.7 now.
Okay, sir.
Here, Vijay, are you getting it? 7.24 now?
But for now, yes, I'm getting it. But
Excellent.
yeah, I'm getting it right.
Perfect, no problem. Keep going it. Keep going, in the same direction. If we get stuck somewhere, let me know. Done, Shreya? Done, Shreya? Any questions? Any doubts?
Yeah, sir, done.
Now look carefully in this part now. So V is the voltage which is connected, this is the battery which provides the potential difference V. And here, if we closely observe the R1, R2 and R3, they are connected one below another one. So this kind of arrangement is called the parallel
sir.
connection. Okay. So first resistance, second resistance, third resistance, all are connected below one another. They are called the parallel connection. So what is the difference? And then finally, and we have a voltmeter connected at the
Okay, sir.
parallel to or parallel to all. Now when you press the key, the current starts moving from the positive terminal of the battery, then goes to the point X. At the point X, it splits into the three components of the current. The current I is split into I1, I2 and I3. So I1 current goes to the resistance 1, I2 current goes to the resistance 2, I3 goes to the resistance 3. And very minimal amount of the current will go to the voltmeter, that is negligible, so that only we are measuring how much is the potential difference across the point X and Y. So that will be the same as total voltage of the battery. And then at the Y, junction Y, again the I1, I2 and I3 gets combined and then forms the total current I and goes back to the negative terminal of the battery. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Now what will happen? Now let's understand the, so total current flowing in the circuit is I. So I is getting split into I1 plus I2 plus I3, right? So let's write it like this separately. So total current.
So will it be equal?
No, it's not. Resistance are not equal, no? So I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Is this part clear to you? I'll just send you this part. See, total current in the parallel circuit will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now as per the Ohm's law, see what is common in the parallel circuit? The voltage is common. V is common across the R1, R2 and R3. So as per Ohm's law, concentrate on the first resistance R1. So that will be given as V is equal to I1 into R1, correct? Then I1, then V by R1 is equal to I1. Is this part clear? Let me just send it to you. Just concentrate on the first resistance R1. So as per the Ohm's law, V will be equal to I1 into R1. Then I1 will be equal to V by R1. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Now similarly, for the R2 case, I2 will be equal to V by R2. Correct? So similarly, V by
Yes, sir.
R2 will be equal to I2 and V by R3 will be equal to I3, correct? Can I say like that?
Yes, sir.
Now substitute in the first equation. In the place of I1, put V by R1. In the place of I2, put V by R2. In the place of I3, put V by R3. Now, if I replace all the three parallel resistance with one equivalent resistance, and that I'll say as R parallel. So there also we can replace as IS V by R parallel, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can I replace like this now? I can be replaced by V by RP. R1 will be equal to, I1 will be V by R1. I2 will be V by R3 and I3 will be V by R3, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now you can cancel V on both the sides. Take the V common from the right hand side and cancel it. So what will be the final equation you will get? 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, correct?
Yes, sir.
So total resistance in the parallel will be given by 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, correct?
Yeah, sir.
So if I have the R1 as 10 ohm, R2 as 10 ohm, R3 as 10 ohm, what will be the equivalent resistance? What will be the parallel resistance, total parallel resistance?
There will be 30 ohm.
No. Substitute the value. 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10 plus 1 by 10. Now solve for Rp.
Oh, sir, this one.
Yeah. In parallel.
Okay, sir.
Vijay, are you getting now?
Not exactly, sir. I'm stuck at this place.
Where you are stuck?
I got that NH3 and HCl about 2.5 moles.
Okay.
I'm stuck what to do after that.
Okay, what do you do afterwards? So calculate the pH after 50 ml of the solution is treated with 25 ml of the 0.10 molar HCl solution. Dissolution constant ammonia is given in this part. Okay. Now once you got 2.5 ml, 2.4 molar you got, right? 2.4 molar, no?
Yeah.
No problem. Now, ammonium ion concentration is how much now you got. Now basically again we need to do the dissolution of the ammonia actually, because it is going to mix with the ammonia solution, right? Because you need to find pH of the 1.10 molar ammonia solution. Calculate the pH after 50 ml of solution is treated with the 25 ml of the 0.10 ml HCl solution. Okay, fine, perfect. So basically what he is asking you is the ammonia solution is already given to you. Ammonia solution is nothing but the base solution. When you mix the base, so it gives you ammonium ions plus OH minus ions, right?
Yeah.
So you found it that part. So yeah, now ammonia plus HCl you got is 2.5 mole, 2.4 mole of the ammonium solution. Okay, after that did he mention that HCl solution, right? Okay, he is asking you to find the resulting 75 ml solution contains the 2.5 moles of ammonium ions, that is 0.033 molar, and that 2.4 moles of 0.033 is neutralized by ammonia molecule, and this ammonium exists in the following equilibrium. Okay, so The final 75 ml solution after neutralization already contains the ammonium ions. So thus total concentration of ammonium ions is given as ammonium ions is 0.0033 plus Y. Okay, so we need actually, our goal is to find the pH of the 0.1 molar ammonia solution. Right, our goal is to find the 0.1 molar ammonia solution. What is the pH value? So in the 0.1 molar solution, how many moles of ammonia are existing?
2.5.
2.4 mole of ammonia is there, correct. So 2.5 moles of ammonia will react with 2.5 moles of HCl, because you are mixing with the 0.1 molar solution of HCl. So basically in 0.1 solution, 0.10 molar ammonia will mix with the 0.1. So same number of moles will react, correct. So 2.5 moles will react with 2.5 moles of HCl. It will form the neutralization reaction. No, it will form the ammonium ions plus Cl minus ion. That is, this part. And then it completely dissociates into ammonium ions and Cl minus. Okay. Now, what he is asking you, resulting 75 ml solution contains the 2.5 moles of ammonia, and that is 0. Okay. Wait. Where did he get the 0.0033, right?
What, sir?
Where did he get the 0.33 molar solution?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so resulting 75 ml solution is the unutilized 2.4. Did he mention 75 ml solution? No.
In total, it will be 75 ml, but 50 ml, and then they add 25 ml of HCl,
Yeah,
right?
so correct. So 50 ml plus 25 ml becomes a 75 ml. Yeah, that's fine, correct. 75 ml solution is there. That contains your 2.5 moles of ammonia and 2.5 moles of unneutralized ammonia molecules. Now, so okay, so in the 75 ml, okay, so what is that he's mentioned? So you have the 75 ml solution contains only 2.5 moles of NH4 ions and 2.5 moles of the ammonium ions, right? So then if you have ammonium hydroxide, okay, what is this? He has mentioned the OH ions, right? He has mentioned the 2.03, okay, 2.5 molar solution. Total ion concentration, how much? Ammonium ions is 0.033 plus Y. Okay, no problem. So molarity, we need to find the concentration of the 2.5 ml, 2.5 molar of ammonia in 75 ml solution, right? So number of moles, basically you need to convert moles per liter, so you need to convert into liter, right? 2.4 molar. 2.4 millimoles, right? Milliliter. So convert this 2.5 millimoles of ammonium solution in the molarity. So how much it will get?
Yeah.
Should get is 2.5 divide by see it's given 2.5 millimoles, right?
Yeah.
So again that 2.5 you have to multiply with 10 power minus 3.
Wait, that's millimoles. I thought that was a spelling mistake.
No, it's millimoles.
Okay.
2.5 millimoles. So 2.5 and 10 power minus 3. So you'll get the 2.5 into 10 power minus 3 divided by 75 into 10 power minus 3. So it will become the, yeah. So 0.033 molar solution you'll get. So once you get 0.033 molar solution, after that you just have to dissociate the ammonium hydroxide to ammonium ions and OH minus ions. Got it? So 0.033
Not
ml.
exactly.
Yeah. So once you get the ammonium ions, 0.033 molar solution once you get, that will be at the equilibrium. You will have the ammonium ions and OH minus ions.
Okay.
So 0.33 m minus y, that then you can apply the equilibrium constant formula. Because it's a base, right? So Kb you can get the value of the OH ions. Kb they have already given to you.
Yeah.
Once you get the Kb value, you can easily find out what is the OH minus ion concentration. Because
Okay.
Kb value they have already given to you, no? From there you can find the OH minus concentration, OH ions concentration. Once you get the OH ion concentration, you can get the H plus concentration because multiplication is 10 power minus 14, and then you can find the pH. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Try it out. Yeah, Shreya, what's the answer you got?
So will it be 3 by 10?
Yes, 3. So 1 by Rp is equal to 3 by 10. So Rp will be equal to cross multiply and make the Rp as subject. We want to find Rp.
Yes, sir.
Rp is equal to what? Take the reciprocal. Rp will be equal to, Rp by 1 will be equal to 10 by 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 10 by 3.
Correct. So you got the equivalent resistance and parallel is less than the 10 ohm resistance. See, all the 10 ohm resistance are connected in parallel, so equivalent resistance is 10 by 3. So if
Okay, sir.
if you have 100 resistance of 10 ohm connected in parallel, then what will be equivalent resistance?
So 100 by 3.
10 by 100. When you connected 3 resistance in parallel, the total resistance you got is 10 by 3. When you connect 100 resistance, there will be 10 by 100 then. When you connect 2 resistance, then 10 by 2. When you connect 1000 resistance of the same 10 ohm resistance, then it will be 10 by 1000. 10 by total number of resistance connected in parallel.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
If it is the, if all the R1, R2 and R3 are same. Now let's calculate again. If suppose R1 is 10, R2 is 20 and R3 is 30, then what will be the equivalent resistance in parallel? So it will be 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by 10 plus 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30. Solve it.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Here we are.
done.
You got the answer now?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Any questions, any doubts in this part?
No, sir.
Clear, right? Okay, good. Perfect. I think it's fine. Let's close it now. We'll continue with the hydrolysis salts and pH tomorrow then. It's fine. I think
Okay, sir.
we can close. Just revise it this problem again. In case still you have any doubts, you can ask me tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Fine? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Yeah, Shreya, what's the answer you got?
So will the RP be 10 by 11?
10 by 11. How? Send me a working. Let me just check.
Okay, sir.
You send the working.
Sir, will it be 60 by 11 then?
Yes, correct answer. RP will be 60 by 11. Correct. See, remember this thumb rule.
Okay, sir.
The resistance in the parallel, see 60 by 11 is basically some 5.5 something, 5.4 something will come, right?
Okay, sir.
So in the parallel, the equivalent resistance
sir.
will be always lesser than the smallest resistance in the parallel. See 10, 20, 30. What is the smallest resistance? 10 ohm. When you found the equivalent resistance, it came less than 10. Right? So whenever you want to reduce,
Yes, sir.
whenever you want to reduce the resistance in the circuit, you can connect them in parallel. Example,
Okay.
when you connect 6 ohm 3 6 ohm resistance is given to you. If you connect 6 ohm 6 ohm 6 ohm in parallel, then total resistance in the parallel will be 2 ohm only, because it will become 6 by 3.
Sir.
So whenever you want to reduce the resistance, total resistance, you connect in parallel. Whenever you want to increase the resistance, you connect in series.
Okay, sir.
Got it? Excellent. So Shreya, I think we covered this part. Now your goal is to revise, read out the 12.6 with the activity 12.4, everything. And yeah,
Okay, sir.
till the example 12.7. So from example 12.7, we'll do together. Okay?
Fine, sir.
Yeah, as part of
Okay,
notebook,
sir.
you just revise it. In case any problem, you can ask me then. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Welcome. Bye.